After breaking up with my first love, I was forced to marry Ethan. For 3 years of marriage, I lived in silent misery. When my ex Ryan returned from abroad, I filed for divorce to reunite with him only to be betrayed and left dying at the bottom of a cliff. The world thought it an accident. Only Ethan spent years uncovering the truth and avenging me. When I reopened my eyes, I found myself back on our wedding night. Ethan had just been driven out of the bedroom by me. I rushed forward to grab his hand. He froze, exhaustion bleeding through his detached tone. "What more do you want? I'll sleep in the living room tonight." The scene matched my memory 5 years ago. The night our arranged marriage began. Fresh from my breakup with Ryan, I'd fought bitterly with Ethan before banishing him. Thus began 3 years of mutual estrangement. This time, I clutched his sleeve desperately. His eyes darkened with concealed weariness. "How else will you torment me?" The cold words stabbed deeper now that I knew the truth. I'd always assumed Ethan despised me too. Especially when he'd readily agreed to divorce so I could pursue Ryan. Not until my death did I learn he'd wept like a child at my grave after dismantling Ryan's empire. "Ethan," my voice trembled. "I'm sorry." His momentary surprise hardened into formality. "Don't worry, Sophia. My business partnership with your father won't be affected by tonight's incident." He mistook my apology for financial anxiety. "This isn't about." "You're right. Our marriage is transactional." He withdrew his hand. "Good night." The slam of the front door echoed through our mansion. I collapsed to the floor. Haunted by cruel words from our past life, "I only married you for money. My heart belongs to someone else." Each syllable now tasted like poison on my tongue. The next morning, Emma's call startled me awake. "Sophia, how was last night?" My best friend's voice bubbled with curiosity. "Huh? Don't play dumb. How's your husband, in bed?" I froze. In my previous life, Emma had made this exact phone call. Back then, I'd been having breakfast with Ethan. In the quiet room, her voice had echoed so loudly I'd choked on my orange juice. Ethan had simply handed me a napkin without blinking, his signature composure that never wavered throughout our marriage. The only time I'd seen him crack was when I'd drunkenly clung to him, slurring Ryan's name. He'd pinned me against the wall, fingers digging into my hips, eyes blazing as he growled, "Sophia, look at me. Who am I?" Emma's voice snapped me back. "Well, spill. I wouldn't know. Are you seriously telling me you haven't tapped that? Fine. But you're coming to my birthday bash tonight. No excuses." The memory hit me. Last time, I'd gotten wasted at this exact party the day after our wedding. Stumbling home at 3 a.m. to find Ethan sitting in the dark living room, ashtray overflowing with cigarette butts. I'd ignored him then. But not this time. "Emma, maybe I should." "Nope. 20 years of friendship trumps your 2-day marriage. Be there." I arrived determined to stay sober. The club throbbed with music as Emma's hired hunks swarmed our booth. Last life, I'd basked in their attention. Now I protested. "I'm married. This feels wrong." Emma smirked. "You said this marriage was temporary. Did something happen last night?" Before I could answer, a chiseled guy slid beside me. "Relax. Beautiful. It's just drinks." The blue strobe light caught Ethan's silhouette as he materialized at our booth. Suit jacket draped over his arm. His stormy gaze swept over the sea of shirtless men surrounding me. I shot up like a teenager caught necking. Ethan." Emma waved cheerfully. "Join us. Ethan. We're celebrating." "No." His voice could frost hell. "I'm here to take my wife home." The male models who had just flirted with me shrank back. "She's not." Emma began to reject them on my behalf. But I shot to my feet and staggered over to Ethan. His stormy expression softened slightly as he silently led me out of the bar. When we paused by his car, I mumbled, "Ethan. I'm sorry." He stiffened. "Unnecessary," he replied curtly, holding the car door open. My knees suddenly buckled, forehead pressing against his starched shirt. His hands instinctively steadied my waist without applying pressure. The warmth of his body radiated through the fabric. His cedarwood cologne enveloping me. Are you angry with me? No. The vibration of his deep voice resonated through his chest. Slightly hoarse. Liar. Ethan always clammed up when upset. Not that I cared, getting this second chance at life was miracle enough. As I moved to enter the car, a voice called, Sophia. My blood turned to ice. Slowly turning, I faced Ryan, my college sweetheart and the man who'd pushed me off a cliff in my previous life. My hands trembled violently. He looked heartbroken, though I distinctly remembered him skipping Emma's birthday in my past timeline. Why did you block my number? He demanded. Ah. My changed actions had altered the timeline. Even after breaking up. Doesn't our history mean anything? Panicked. I glanced at Ethan. His expression had frozen over again. Ryan pressed on. I know your family forced you to marry someone you don't love. You've always. Shut up. I snapped. You're lying to yourself. You'll never forget what we had. You love me. Not him. Bullshit. Do I look blind to you? He blinked in shock. My husband's taller. Smarter. Richer. Kinder. I took a dramatic breath. And better in bed. Dead silence followed. Clapping a hand over my mouth, I mentally cursed Emma's constant bedroom inquiries. Ethan's mask slipped briefly. Was that amusement? Before resuming his marble statue act, Ryan gaped. You'd actually say that to me? As fury boiled in my veins, Ethan stepped between us. His broad shoulders blocked Ryan completely. Why wouldn't she? His cultured voice dripped with disdain. Because you're the ex-boyfriend? The emphasis on Ryan's former title turned it into an insult. Ryan's face purpled with rage. As tensions were rising, Ethan opened the car door and I obediently climbed in. He shot Ryan a frosty glance before sliding into the driver's seat with silent authority that brooked no argument. Only when we'd driven several blocks did my nervous tension ease. The sudden question sliced through the quiet cabin. What were you afraid of back there? My breath caught. He'd noticed my moment of panic. Nothing, maybe just the chill. I lied poorly. Instead of challenging my flimsy excuse, Ethan wordlessly tossed his tailored suit jacket onto my lap. The faint scent of sandalwood and cigars enveloped me as I murmured thanks to his unresponsive profile. Lulled by the warmth, I drifted into uneasy sleep. Memory flickered back when strong arms lowered me onto a bed. Through heavy eyelids, I watched Ethan tuck blankets around me and set water on the nightstand. As he turned to leave, my fingers caught his sleeve. Ethan. Those slate-gray eyes met mine. Marrying you makes me happy. What happened next remains unclear, though I hazily recall him standing vigil by my bed for hours. In my previous life, when my broken body lay unrecognizable at the mountain's base, even my parents couldn't bear to look. Yet Ethan had stood motionless before my corpse, studying what others found repulsive. I'd assumed he took vicious pleasure in my demise. This woman who'd walked away from him. Only after death did I learn the truth. While the world dismissed my fall as accident, Ethan spent years unraveling the conspiracy, ultimately sending Ryan to execution. Floating as a spirit, I witnessed his relentless pursuit of justice and found myself falling for the man I'd never truly known. When I told Ryan I'm not blind, the bitter irony choked me. My first life had been one of willful blindness, missing every truth that mattered. This second chance tempts me to confess everything to Ethan. But how to explain loving someone whose feelings developed invisibly? My recent harsh words hang between us like shattered glass. Sudden affection now would ring false. Thus our newlywed days pass in polite detachment. Beyond that bar pickup night, Ethan maintains careful distance. His business trip leaves me rattling around our cavernous penthouse alone. Mother's call comes predictably. Come home. There's much you need to learn about being a proper wife. I mumble excuses, dreading the inevitable performance. My entire existence had been their marionette show, the demure daughter, the compliant bride. Their concern never extended beyond surface appearances, until Emily's honeyed voice purrs through the receiver. Come home. Sister. I've missed you so. Mother chimes in, don't be selfish. Your sister needs you. Ice crystallizes in my veins. Their golden child always needs something. In my first life, Emily played the compassionate sister, sneaking comforts after parental punishments. Whispering poisonous doubts, are you truly content marrying without love? What sweet lies those were. While I played the stoic bride, she'd been Ryan's eager mistress. Her concern carefully eroded my marriage until I fled into my killer's arms. Now reborn, I see through every calculated gesture. Let them scheme. This time, I'll dance to my own rhythm and claim what's mine. When I lacked the courage to divorce, Emily encouraged me. Sis, even if the whole world turns against you, I'll stand by your side. I considered her my only family, even feeling blessed to have such a sister, as if I'd accumulated good karma from past lives. That was until my spirit returned home after death and I found her diary. She'd written, "Today I messed with Sophia again. She's so gullible. Falling for the simplest tricks. Mom and Dad punished her by withholding dinner, so satisfying. I wonder when she'll finally get the hell out of this house." Ethan actually proposed an arranged marriage with her. Why? Why? What does she have that I don't? That bitch, I'll make her pay and win Ethan back. Sophia remains as stupid as ever. Ryan barely had to sweet-talk her before she dared divorce him and elope. She never realized he's a gambling addict. Or that all those chance encounters were my doing. Ha! My spectral form trembled reading each venomous line. Phantom blood boiling yet freezing simultaneously. I screamed my rage into the void. Unheard by the living. Now, the architect of my past life tragedy stood before me. Feigning innocence as she cooed. "I missed you." I smiled. "Good. I'll return tomorrow." Arriving at the Clark family mansion, I'd swapped my usual demure style for bold crimson lipstick and a tailored pantsuit. The collective gasp upon my entrance was priceless. Emily recovered first. "Sis, marriage changed your style?" "Honestly, it's not as," her trailing gaze performed theatrical pity. "Previously, I'd mistake this for tactful concern. Now," I laughed. "Ethan prefers me this way." Her mask cracked, bullseye. How had I never noticed her obsession with Ethan? Mom intervened hastily. "Sophia, the Miller family's social standing demands more discretion than ours. Was I truly careless here?" I tossed my coat to a maid, settling onto the forbidden living room sofa. "Funny, last time I sat before you, I got slapped. Was that carelessness?" Dad stormed in, slamming his study door. "You dare disrespect us? Marriage erased your decency?" "Which part was incorrect?" "Your tone. You think Ethan shields you now?" "Hardly. But since your self-proclaimed royalty demanding universal obedience." The ashtray shattered at my feet. Mom and Emily shrieked. I stared him down until he faltered. "You're just a pawn in the Clark-Miller alliance. Stop deluding yourself." Truths only my corpse-earned perspective revealed. "How noble, selling your daughter." As I turned to leave, Emily intercepted. "Dad didn't mean. Save it. You'd love being this pawn. Wouldn't you?" Her composure slipped. "That's not. Don't worry." I patted her cheek. "Dad would never sacrifice his precious daughter. This burden stays mine." Her face purpled. "Are you implying divorce? Why bother?" Dad hurled my coat outdoors. "Keep this attitude and never return." The slammed door echoed my dead heart's applause. Mom added fuel to the fire. "How dare you treat your parents like this? We've wasted our efforts raising you." Emily's expression softened with barely concealed schadenfreude. "You should apologize to Mom and Dad." "Sophia." My parents stared down at me with undisguised disgust. The discarded coat on the floor might as well have been my childhood self, perpetually unwanted. I clenched my fists as tension crackled through the room. The atmosphere shattered when Ethan strolled in. He picked up the coat with deliberate calm, brushing off invisible dust. "Mr. Clark," he drawled, glancing at my father. "Surely you're not taking out your temper on a piece of fabric?" Dad blanched. Mr. Miller, when did you arrive?" "Recently." Those steel, gray eyes shifted to me. Came to take Sophia home. Though it seems I've interrupted something? No. No conflict here. Dad rushed to explain. Our daughter's just being temperamental like she was spoiled as a child. Yet she's Mrs. Miller now. Ethan's voice turned glacial as he stepped between us. Any discipline required falls under my purview. The unspoken threat hung heavier than his designer suit. Emily's perfect mask slipped, revealing venomous resentment. Dad bowed his head like a chastened child. Of course. Mr. Miller. Ethan didn't wait for platitudes. His grip on my elbow felt like salvation until I noticed his whitened knuckles on the steering wheel. My pulse raced. Was that anger for me? Then reality crashed in. Of course he'd be furious. My family's disrespect was a direct insult to the Millers. Has it always been like this? His question startled me hours later as sunset painted the city crimson. I traced the car window's condensation. You get used to it. Something in his posture shifted almost imperceptibly. I wrapped up the business trip early when I heard you'd come here. Thank you. I murmured. He didn't acknowledge it. But as streetlights began flickering on, he broke the silence again. Sophia. Golden light slid across his sharp features when he turned. I'm sorry I wasn't there sooner. The rasp in his voice synchronized with my suddenly erratic heartbeat. I tried dismissing the incident, but Ethan's actions spoke louder. Later that week, I overheard him instructing staff to alert him immediately if I ever visited my family again. His concern, whether for me or Miller family reputation, left me unsettled. Will you accompany me to the Sinclair Gala next week? He asked casually during dinner, twirling his wine glass. Memories flooded back, our previous Cold War during the same event. My childish refusal to acknowledge him. Now I understood these galas weren't just parties, but battlegrounds for social capital. When the night arrived, our coordinated designer outfits drew admiring glances. Ethan's hand lingered at my waist longer than necessary as cameras flashed. Relax, he murmured, breath warm against my ear. They're all watching how thoroughly you belong here. The possessive edge in his voice sparked unexpected warmth. For the first time, I leaned into the charade, not as Clark family's unwanted daughter, but as Sophia Miller. His fingers tightened fractionally in approval. Most attendees looked familiar, many clearly hoping to curry favor with the Miller family for career advancement. Ethan only stood by my side briefly before being pulled away by business associates. I waited quietly by the corner buffet table. Sophia. You came too? Emily's voice chimed behind me. She immediately looped her arm through mine, smiling like we were inseparable sisters. Just between us. Mom and Dad brought me here to scout marriage prospects. I raised an eyebrow. I thought you already had someone in mind. She blushed. Don't be ridiculous. Her phone buzzed. After reading the message, she brightened. The youngest Taylor's son invited me to a private lounge upstairs. Come with me? Her innocent act barely concealed her scheming. The same script as my previous life unfolded. After a pause, I smiled. Sure. There was no Taylor heir waiting upstairs, only Ryan, whom I hadn't seen in days. Last time, I'd fallen for this trap, sobbing in Ryan's arms about the Miller family's overwhelming power and even resenting Ethan. Unbeknownst to me, hidden cameras captured everything, leaking to tabloids. Ethan had quietly erased the scandal, never mentioning it even as I died clueless, until I read Emily's journal posthumously. Now history repeated. Ryan gazed at me earnestly. Sophia. I know you were putting on an act for Ethan that day. The Millers control the Clarks, you've had no freedom. If they hadn't demanded marriage, we'd still be together. I'm moving to America. Come with me. We'll start fresh where nobody knows us. He reached for my hand. I jerked away. You're mistaken. Every word I said was genuine. I'm married now. Your attempt to break up a marriage is morally bankrupt. My second rejection gave him pause. But he quickly resumed the act. You're just pushing me away to protect me. Right? I massaged my temples. What had I ever seen in this manipulative fool? Before I could finish, he lunged for a hug. I don't believe you. You promised we'd be forever. The door clicked shut, Emily had vanished. Cameras were likely already snapping photos of this embrace for the tabloids. Shoving him off. I gripped the voice recorder in my pocket. With this evidence, I had to control the narrative before Ethan misunderstood. Flashbulbs exploded as I opened the door. Ms. Clark. What were you doing in there? Who else was present? Our sources say you were meeting a lover. How does this reflect on your new marriage? My head spun. This time, Emily had tipped off reporters directly. Even with audio proof. Being alone with an ex would fuel endless gossip. A commotion erupted behind the media scrum. Cameras swiveled. Mr. Miller. What's your response to your wife's actions? Is your marriage in trouble? Will you file for divorce? How will assets? Ethan stood motionless, ignoring the questions. His gaze locked on me. My chest tightened inexplicably. After a beat, he strode forward through the chaos and took my hand. He shielded me from the swarm of paparazzi and quickly led me outside. Someone called out. Ethan Miller. Emily blocked our path. My sister has always only had eyes for her ex. Even after marriage, they still end up in each other's arms whenever they meet. Why don't you let her go? Grant these star-crossed lovers their happy ending through divorce? I opened my mouth to protest. But Ethan spoke first. You witnessed what happened inside? She faltered. I was right here. So. Perfect. Ethan's voice turned glacial. His entire demeanor radiating frost. Prepare to testify in court. Emily blanched. What? My wife, he enunciated with lethal precision, was sexually harassed in there. The color drained from Emily's face. Wait. I only came upstairs with my sister earlier. Whatever happened inside? I didn't see. Her contradictory statements exposed the lie. Ethan ignored her, guiding me to the underground parking garage while making multiple calls. When he finally hung up, I clutched the voice recorder. I know you were set up. Weariness edged his tone. My legal team and PR contacts are handling this. We'll clear your name. The words caught in my throat. After a shaky breath, I whispered, Ethan, why do you trust me so completely? Silence stretched between us. When he finally spoke, his voice roughened. Because you're my wife. My pulse thundered so violently I felt it in my fingertips, pressing a hand to my racing heart. I waited for composure before offering the recorder. I documented everything. Surprise flickered across his features. I smiled. Your wife isn't as helpless as you think. That night after showering, Ethan texted asking to discuss litigation strategies in his study. I grabbed a bottle from the wine cellar and descended in silk lingerie. The dim study revealed Ethan in rumpled dress shirt and gold-rimmed glasses. Documents spread across the desk. He glanced up when I entered, eyes briefly widening at my attire before resuming professional detachment. Drink? I reached for glasses. Focus. He slid documents toward me. Evidence shows Emily leaked details to media, including Ryan's appearance, as he outlined legal strategies against them. I drained multiple glasses of the deceptively strong bourbon. His words began blurring as I fixated on his mouth, those perfectly sculpted lips begging to be tasted. Ethan. My finger grazed his lower lip. He froze, composure cracking. I'm tipsy, I confessed, leaning closer. When I drink, I crave kissing. His jaw tightened. Did you want to kiss strangers at bars too? Married now. I slurred, shaking my head vehemently. Must stay faithful. My clumsy earnestness drew an unexpected chuckle from him. Meeting his gaze, I closed the distance between us. Don't I deserve a reward? The next second, he pulled me into a fierce embrace. Sophia. Who am I? Ethan, who is Ethan to you? My husband. His scorching kiss descended before I could finish. I'd been trapped in a long dream. In that dream, I relived those days abroad with Ryan after our divorce. We were happy at first. Even after defying all odds to divorce. Even after cutting ties with our families. I never regretted eloping with him. Until that evening when he invited me to watch the sunset on the mountain. The fiery clouds that day were breathtaking. Swirling oranges and purples painting the sky. As daylight faded and night crept in, he gently wrapped his arms around me. I buried my face in his chest, savoring our sweet moment. Then he whispered "I'm sorry" against my ear and shoved me off the cliff. I jolted awake. Dawn barely tinting the windows. A warm hand patted my chest as a sleep-roughened voice murmured, "Nightmare?" It took me a moment to remember. Those fragments belonged to my past life. Rolling over, I pressed closer to Ethan's warmth. His body heat grounded me. Tangible proof of our intimacy. "Ethan, what I said on our wedding night wasn't true. I'm sorry. You've already apologized." His fingers combed through my hair. Voice still husky with sleep. "Maybe try a different approach." "Huh?" I looked up, drowning in those darkened eyes. Actions speak louder. Haven't we already? The usually composed Ethan looked at me with undisguised hunger, effortlessly pulling me back into his arms. "Then let's reinterpret it." He'd left for the office when I woke next morning. His brief replies to my texts confirmed he was swamped. My unease grew. Soon enough, rumors about our marital discord began trending. Though a businessman, Ethan's striking looks and business acumen made him more followed than A-list celebrities. Within hours, every major outlet ran headlines like "CEO's wife caught with ex in hotel sting." The comments section boiled over. Word is Mrs. Miller got caught with her ex at a hotel while Ethan watched. Second-hand embarrassment. Rich people are wild. Why cheat on a god-tier husband? Someone take out the trash. Ethan had contained the story. How did it leak? My phone blew up with calls from reporters and concerned Emma. Mid-explanation, Mr. Miller summoned me to the family estate. We'd rarely interacted since Ethan and I moved out. The patriarch's disapproval hit like a gavel. "Sophia, Ethan fought for this marriage against all advice. I accepted you despite your family's situation. Now you've jeopardized his leadership during this critical transition. Competitors are weaponizing these rumors to undermine him." Mr. Miller slammed his hand on the table repeatedly in frustration. I finally realized suppressing this incident wasn't as simple as I'd naively assumed. What shocked me more was discovering our marriage wasn't merely a business alliance, but something he'd actively pursued from his father. Reborn with foreknowledge, I'd arrogantly believed I could manipulate events and outmaneuver those plotting against me. How foolish I'd been. Forgetting the wisdom that warns against lingering near crumbling walls. Risking myself had been the height of stupidity. "Dad, this was a setup. Sophia and I have gathered all the evidence. We're filing the lawsuit tomorrow. No need to wait." Ethan's voice came from behind us. He looked weary from the day's efforts. Yet his arm around my waist steadied me with unshakable resolve. "My legal team's already handling it." Meeting his father's gaze, I vowed, "I'll work closely with Ethan on damage control and public clarification. From now on, we'll face every challenge together." Ethan squeezed my shoulder. "Sophia's the victim here. Transparency will resolve this crisis." The elder Miller studied us before sighing heavily. "The company is yours now." My anger stemmed from fearing those tabloid rumors held truth. But seeing you two united, his stern features softened. This harmony between husband and wife is all I needed. During the drive home, fragmented memories from my previous life resurfaced. Ghostly visions of Ethan kneeling before his father, defying logic to investigate my accidental death. Even after our divorce, he'd remembered my fear of heights that no one else noticed, not even my parents. As if sensing my thoughts, Ethan's brow furrowed. I smoothed the crease with my thumb. "Stop frowning. You'll get wrinkles. What if I stay young while you turn into a grandpa?" His lips quirked. "Then I'll parade you everywhere, bragging about my beautiful wife until everyone thinks I'm some silver fox sugar daddy." The tension dissolved into shared laughter. When it faded, he grew serious. Our PR team issued the statement. "Winning the case will clear everything. I'm sorry my miscalculations dragged you into this online chaos." "Apology accepted," I teased. But you could make it up by creating a social media account. Your fanbase would amplify our message better than corporate channels. Ethan immediately pulled over, typing rapidly. Within minutes, his newly verified account exploded with notifications, countless users flooding his DMs with husband calls. I pretended to study passing scenery as he smirked and typed something. "What did you post?" I asked later. "Check tonight," he murmured, his lips already claiming mine the moment we entered our penthouse. By the time we collapsed breathless onto silk sheets, digital dramas felt worlds away. Morning Light revealed his solitary post trending nationwide, "Married. Stop calling me husband." Attached was our wedding photo. My laughing face pressed against his shoulder as he glared at the camera with possessive intensity. Couple goals. Stop the rumors. The attached photo showed our intertwined fingers, likely taken by Ethan while I was asleep. The comments under this tweet were a far cry from the daytime chaos. The company's official statement explains everything. Spectators can move along. Ethan registered a Twitter account overnight just to clear his wife's name. Did anyone notice his tweets were edited multiple times to fix punctuation? Dude's meticulous down to the last hair for his wife. He's so in love. I'm literally crying. Bathed in sunlight, I finally smiled at these supportive messages. Emily's collusion with Ryan to frame me could be dismissed as a jealous younger sister scheming to steal her sibling's husband. But on a larger scale, she'd tarnished the Miller family's reputation and caused financial losses. When Ethan pressed charges against both for defamation and privacy violations, leading to Emily's arrest, our parents panicked. They rushed over, begging me to drop the case. "Sophia, Emily's always been spoiled." I cut them off coldly. "Funny, Dad. Last week you claimed I was the spoiled one." His face paled. That was anger talking. "We're family, no grudges. You've always been close with Emily. Forgive her this once." "Did you know she keeps diaries?" I stared them down. "Check the bottom shelf of her bookcase. Leather-bound notebooks. See how she's treated me all these years. If you still think she's innocent afterward, fine." They left, and I gambled, betting on their residual affection, that they'd feel some pity after witnessing Emily's twisted psyche. It worked. They never returned, even as I confronted Emily at the police station, haggard and defeated during interrogation. She perked up seeing me. "Sis, I thought you still had feelings for Ryan." "I just wanted Ethan to divorce you. Please withdraw the charges." "Wrong," I hissed. "You scheduled private meetings with Ryan and tipped off paparazzi to ruin my reputation, not facilitate a divorce." She sobbed theatrically. "I can't go to jail. My life. Your diaries." I leaned closer. "Mom and Dad read them. They know you're rotten to the core. Prison or not, you've lost them forever." "Liar." She lunged, restrained by officers. They'd never abandon me. Outside, spring breeze washed over me. In this life, Emily's schemes backfired. Our parents, pragmatic businesspeople, would choose their socially advantageous daughter over a felon dragging down the Clark name. One last betrayer remained. Ryan had pinned everything on Emily. Insufficient evidence freed him. But Ethan's lawyers were circling. "We'll nail him for harassment." I stayed silent. Harassment charges? Insufficient. He'd pay in blood. Secretly, I began tracking Ryan's movements. Upon learning he had flown to a casino overseas, an idea suddenly struck me. I told Ethan I needed a getaway abroad and, fearing detection, took multiple connecting flights before finally landing at the casino city. I hired a private investigator to track Ryan's recent movements. After pinpointing his regular casino haunt, I leveraged the investigator's connections to recruit professional actors. Their mission was simple: sit across from Ryan daily and escalate the betting stakes. If he'd killed me over gambling debts in our past life, addiction undoubtedly controlled him now. True to form, within days Ryan burned through his funds and accumulated staggering debts. As he prepared to slink away in defeat, I appeared before him in crimson silk. "Fancy meeting you here." I smiled over coffee invitations. After that incident, Ethan and I grew distant. Our marriage exists in name only now. This trip was supposed to clear my head. Yet here you are, perhaps fate intervenes? My carefully orchestrated chance encounter melted Ryan's defenses. Little did he know my nightly phone calls with Ethan overflowed with affection even as I lamented our loveless union. When I suggested extending his stay, he hesitated. I'm practically tapped out. Money issues? I tilted my head. All reassurance. Don't fret. I've got plenty. Let me cover your expenses. The mention of wealth lit predatory hunger in his eyes. I couldn't possibly. After all we've shared? I countered gently. You think I'd begrudge helping someone I care about? His poorly concealed grin betrayed the calculations. Here stood his golden goose. True to my word. Each gambling loss earned instant reimbursement through me. Funds cycling back via actors to my accounts. Ryan clung to the delusion that next hand would recoup everything. Blind to the rigged game. Gamblers earn their title through insatiable hunger. Last life. I died from misjudging this addict. Now I watched Ryan hemorrhage cash like sand through fingers. A death row inmate counting unknowing hours. When he next requested funds, I feigned banking limits. Take a casino loan first. I'll settle it after my transfer restrictions lift. Doubt flickered. If I default? The loan sharks. I'm not going anywhere. I soothed. Have I ever abandoned you? Addiction overrode caution. He borrowed heavily. And I repaid promptly, the first of many withdrawals. Between casino glitter and bottomless drinks, weeks evaporated. Ethan's repeated pleas for my return met gentle postponements. What are you waiting for? He finally pressed. Trust me. I murmured. I'll come home safely when this ends. Silence stretched before his reluctant, I'll wait. Ryan's debts ballooned with each passing day. Secure in belief I'd bail him out indefinitely. Fools forget destiny collects all debts with interest. After settling his final loan, I boarded a flight home and severed all contact. My actors ensured whispers of Ryan's trust fund pedigree reached loan sharks' ears. When collectors discover his empty pockets, they'll bleed him dry before shipping what's left to Southeast Asia. Either way, justice arrives. As my plane touched down, the investigator's message blinked, asset liquidation complete. Clark family holdings secured. Unable to repay his gambling debts and unable to reach me. Ryan attempted to flee back to China but was captured by loan sharking gangsters who imprisoned him. The detective later stated he'd likely be trafficked to Southeast Asia eventually. Anyone who's seen the news knows what kind of living hell that entails. A bitter smile tugged at my lips. Satisfaction coursing through my veins. I'll never know what twisted satisfaction Ryan felt when he pushed me off that cliff in our previous life. All I remember is drowning in despair during the endless fall. This second chance allowed me to exact revenge on those who wronged me while resolving lingering regrets from the past. At the airport entrance, I spotted Ethan from afar, dressed in a tailored suit. He looked like he'd rushed here straight from a board meeting. I never disclosed my flight details. But Ethan always finds answers when he wants them. He'd probably uncovered all the secrets I'd tried keeping these past months anyway. Rooted to the spot, I hesitated until Ethan closed the distance in purposeful strides, enveloping me in a warm embrace. Welcome home. My body stiffened slightly. Aren't you going to ask where I've been? He shook his head. What if I did something terrible? Had our positions been reversed? Ethan interrupted. My methods might have been far worse. His steady gaze held mine. You simply did what needed doing. My support is unconditional. Resting my chin on his shoulder, I finally returned the embrace as hot tears overflowed. The terminal's heated air swirled around us, carrying with it the strange sensation of healing old wounds across lifetimes. Karma delivered justice. My soul found its anchor. This was enough.